Okay, so we are still writing test scenarios for the sign up functionality. Now we will try to write test scenarios for a very famous application, which is Facebook. We have the sign up page of Facebook, and here we are talking about Facebook website. Like we explained earlier, there is a difference between the web version and the mobile version of any application or any website, and we will discuss those differences later. So this is the sign up page of Facebook. So the first step is to know how many fields do we have inside this page. We have the first name, the last name or the surname, mobile number or email address, new password, date of birth, and gender. So those are 6 fields, okay? This means that at least we will need 7 test scenarios, 6 plus 1. Why? 1 scenario for the valid registration and 6 scenarios for the invalid registration. This is the least number of scenarios that we need to test this functionality. But we are going to write more than 20 scenarios now, okay? So like we see here, the first and surname are different than the username. The username, for example, we explained it earlier, it accepted numbers, okay? It accepted alphanumeric characters. The first name and last name, they don't accept numbers. They must be only characters or letters. Also, the username, we said, for example, it must be at least 6 characters. First or last name can be 2 characters, okay? So in Chinese or Japanese, I don't remember, we have the name Yu. In Arabic, for example, we have many names that include only 2 characters, okay? Like May and Iz. We have many names in Arabic and other languages that consist only of 2 characters. So having only 2 characters in the first name or surname is accepted. On the other hand, having 2 characters or 3 characters in the username is not accepted. Also, the first name or the last name can be duplicated. We can have 2 persons who have the same first name or have the same last name or have both the same first name and last name. This happens a lot. Another important thing about first name and last name is that it accepts any language, okay? You can write your name in Arabic, English, German, Russian, Turkish, or any other language. This rule does not apply to username. In many applications, the username must be in English. So this is about first name and surname. Then mobile number and email address are like the ones that we wrote earlier. There is no difference. So the scenarios that we wrote for mobile number when we tested KFC and the scenarios that we wrote for the email address at the first requirement can be used here also. The same with the password. The same restrictions apply to the password. Then we have the date of birth. Here the date of birth is part of a drop-down list. This is good news. Why? Because having a drop-down list restricts the types of inputs that the user can provide to the system. He cannot provide numbers, he cannot provide letters, okay, or special characters. He just can choose from the drop-down list that is provided. And in the date of birth, we will apply a technique that's called equivalence partitioning in order to cover a large range of dates of births. We will explain this technique later in the black box techniques section. Then we have the gender. The gender is the same. We have only 3 radio buttons. We must choose one of them. So we either leave this field empty or choose one of the 3 options. So here in the gender field, we have only 4 test scenarios. Applying those 4 test scenarios makes us reach something that's called exhaustive testing. Exhaustive testing means that we test all possible scenarios. This is impossible in normal situations. But because the options in the gender are not a lot, we can perform exhaustive testing. But we can never apply exhaustive testing on the first name, surname, mobile number, or new password. Why? Because those fields include unlimited number of inputs that can be provided to the system. We can never test all those inputs. But in the gender, we have only 4 options. This is why when we are designing our systems, it is much better to use this way in providing input, the way that's used in the date of birth and the gender, if this is possible, of course. So let's begin writing our test scenarios. So first we will create a new card. We will call it sign up Facebook website. Let's create it, and then we will create our checklist. Facebook test scenarios, sign up. Then let's begin writing the scenarios. Here we have more than one valid scenario. In previous examples, we had only one valid scenario in which we provide all the valid data. But here we have many valid scenarios. One valid scenario is to register using a valid phone number. Another valid scenario is to register using a valid email address. The same with the gender. We have 3 valid scenarios: female, male, and custom. So let's first write our valid scenarios. So here, verify registration using a valid phone number. We can here separate our scenarios. So this checklist, we will call it valid scenarios. Okay, first one, verify registration using a valid phone number. Then let's add verify registration using a valid email address. Okay, then verify registration while choosing male as a gender, then choosing female as a gender, then choosing custom as a gender. So those are the valid scenarios. Let's go to the first name and surname and think about their scenarios. So here we can say another checklist: first name and surname scenarios. So the first scenario is verify leaving first name field empty. Verify leaving surname field empty. Okay, we always need to test leaving the field empty and providing invalid input in the field. Another scenario is to write one character first name and one character surname. This is not accepted. So verify providing one character in the first name field and verify providing one character in the last name field. Okay, like we said, providing 2 characters is a valid scenario. This is not an invalid scenario. So here we can say verify providing 2 characters in the first name field, and here we can say valid. This is a valid scenario. Verify providing 2 characters in the surname field, and this is also a valid scenario. What else can we test? We can provide numbers and special characters, and this should be prohibited. It is not accepted to provide numbers or special characters in your name. So verify providing numbers in the first name field. Verify providing numbers in the surname field, okay, or last name. Verify providing special characters in the first name field. Verify providing special characters in the surname field. Okay, what else? We can write an Arabic name, okay, or German name. For example, in German we have some characters that aren't included in English, like the umlaut. Arabic, of course, is written from right to left. Russian is very different. All of these languages should be tested, and these are valid scenarios. They should be accepted. So verify providing non-English first and surname. Okay, Arabic, German, for example, Russian. Okay. What if we combine between 2 languages in the same field? So for example, I need to write my first name in Arabic, which is Tariq, and my last name in English, okay, Rushdie. This is a scenario. Depending on the requirements, the application might accept this scenario, or it might give me an error telling me, no, you should provide both fields in the same language. I think in Facebook it should do this, okay? It should tell me first and last name or first and surname should be in the same language. So we can say verify providing first name in a language that is different from the language used in surname. So this is another scenario. So these are the first name and surname scenarios.